Welcome everyone to another video in the series of plant magic and medicine. It's a windy day today, but I thought I would take you out and harvest some motherwort, and we'll talk about motherwort. I have motherwort growing in my witchy garden in behind the garage. These were from seedlings that I did last year in the basement, and the plants are huge, and I have more motherwort than I know what to do with. I do really love how it looks though. It's very bushy and green and it grows really fast, so I just think it looks really pretty in my witchy garden. A word of caution about motherwort: if you're thinking of growing it, it can be quite invasive. So I make a point of not letting it go to flower or to seed. Motherwort is part of the mint family, and you can tell by its square stem. All the mint family has square stems, but motherwort one is actually quite big and really noticeable just how square the stem is. And the leaves almost look like maple leaves. And when it does flower, it has little purple flowers tightly along the stem. All parts of the motherwort above ground are usable for medicinal properties. You can use the flowers, the leaves, and the stems. But I'm choosing to just use the leaves, and the only reason I'm doing this is because I have a lot of it and it's easier to dry. So I just put the stems and throw them in the compost. Motherwort is quite bitter, and while I was doing this, there were a bunch of black flies or mosquitoes around me. So I was swatting at them and rubbing at my face if they stung me. And later, I was just licking my lips for something, and it was so bitter. So I just thought I would share that little tidbit with you. Okay, I have a basket full, so let's go inside and start prepping the motherwort. Let's talk a little bit about the actual word motherwort. The word wort, W-O-R-T, is often used to describe a plant that has been used for medicine, especially historically. So you know, if any plant that has the word wort in it, St. John's wort, motherwort, bladderwort, mugwort, it has a long history of medicinal use. And this one, having the word mother in front of it, it's because it was often used for women's issues. So now we're going to start talking about its medicinal properties and its magical properties. You can prepare motherwort as a tea, infusion, decoction, or tincture. As the name motherwort implies, it is often used in magic for anything that is related to maternal issues. So anything for healing emotions, healing physically, any nurturing spells, any spells that you want to boost your heart chakra, love, family protection, and family blessings. Useful for any female rites, rituals for a girl becoming a woman becoming a crone, any marriages. It's also useful for dispelling negativity. You can carry it on your person in a sachet, or you can take it internally like a tea and just set your intention when you do that. Just like the magical properties of Motherwort, this plant is used for any physical ailments that often come from being female, and also any heart-related physical issues. So it helps with cardiac health. It helps strengthen your cardiac health. It helps regulate your heart rate. It helps with anxiety. It's used as a mild sedative. So if taking as a tea at night, it can help calm any nervous tension. It's very useful for perimenopause and menopause. It helps with hot flashes and night sweats. It's also very useful for any PMS symptoms. And so you can see that it's very oriented towards women. But the one thing which is surprising, despite the name Motherwort, it is not a plant to be taken while you are pregnant. So just be aware of that, and don't be fooled by the name for that case. Because this plant is so good for menopause and perimenopause, I had made a menopause tea blend, and I had included a pretty big proportion of Motherwort in that blend. But I took maybe 2 cups of that tea over time, and I could not stand the bitterness of Motherwort. So I'm just warning you now. Some people can tolerate really bitter things. I don't mind mild bitter things, but this was beyond acceptable to my palate. So I did change my recipe for the menopause tea blend and removed Motherwort completely, and decided that I would take it as a tincture. I'm actually drying this Motherwort not for me to have as a tea, it's for me to give away. And I also thought I might try and sell some in packages, or anyway, we'll see what happens with this dried stuff. But now we're going to move on to me making a tincture. I'm just taking the Motherwort and roughly chopping the leaves. It doesn't have to be super finely chopped, just enough to expose more of the plant. I'm just putting this in a mason jar, and I'm going to pack it in tightly. I want it to be quite potent. I want this tincture to be quite potent, because I will be taking not big amounts of it because it is so bitter. But I still want to be able to take this plant, and I think that is why I prefer the tincture method, and I prefer to have it good and strong. Ideally, you should use 100 proof vodka for tinctures. I am not using 100 proof for two reasons. One, I don't drink vodka, and I don't know why, but I have 2 bottles of vodka here that are 40% or 50% proof. I'm not exactly sure. And booze is very expensive in Canada, so I didn't want to waste money buying 100 proof when this will work just fine. I will just let it steep longer than the usual 4 to 6 weeks. I'll just let it steep for, 8 weeks. It's fine. It's not an exact science for many plants. Some plants you do have to be careful with when you make tinctures, but this one, it's fine. I'm using a chopstick to make sure that the alcohol is all the way through the plant. You don't want any dry material in there, and you don't want really air bubbles in there either. So I'm going to give this a good shake, and I will be doing that every day for the next 8 weeks probably. It's good to do that so that the alcohol gets around every single part of the plant material and that the medicinal properties gets infused into the alcohol. Okay, I think that's it for Motherwort. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you soon for the next one in the series.